Hey, thanks for joining us on the Political Deep Dive After Dark show. Let me bring on our esteemed colleagues. Mr. Tyler Smith, the SAS Master General, back from his international tour, the International Man SAS of Mystery. And from Illinois, Miss Emily Early. How you doing, darling?
I just took about half an edible, so we got 40 good minutes.
Heck yeah, right on. That is awesome. Let me bring up the show so I can get questions if you've got them.
You say it's
Hi,
called
Kay, how you
After
doing?
Hours. Let's make it some After Hours.
Oh, Kay says, "Don't tell me what to do." Maybe.
There's only one good place to be told what to do.
I can.
Yeah, but I'm not allowed back in the Yankees locker room.
Whoa.
Wow.
That took a turn I wasn't expecting.
Wow.
Missed you guys.
Awesome. Kara will be joining us shortly. She just sent me a message, so we'll have her on. So did you guys check out any of the interview I did with Justin and Josh?
I saw. Oh, sorry.
It's an interesting organization, man. I'm kind of excited to see what they do with that. Basically crowdsourcing their policy and allowing people to silo their money, so you're not dumping money into an organization that is you think that you're sending your money to fight for civil asset forfeiture, and then all of a sudden you see 2 months later they're giving money to this Republican candidate or this Democratic candidate, and you're like, well, my money, I just threw my money towards a Democrat or Republican I don't agree with at all. You silo your money in that issue goes to fight for criminal justice reform. So
yeah, they were really popular at the state convention. And like I said, I sat and talked to Justin for probably a good 15-20 minutes. I feel really bad because he probably thought I wasn't listening to a word he was saying, because I was writing my speech for my announcement, and but we were talking, and like everything that he had introduced to me, like I asked a few questions about what about, like you said, it ends up going to somewhere where you didn't expect it to. So it's like, why did I even donate? No, this is I very much agree with you. I like that it's crowdsourcing legislative action that is actually intended to promote liberty and liberty-minded legislation. So
yes,
I was just telling, and Emily, I was just telling him actually earlier, like I feel like every state should probably work on developing something like that. I think we need to.
That's what I said 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. I tried to get LP Washington to adopt that platform, but it just, with so few volunteers who have the time and expertise to do what needs to be done, and people martyr themselves for this cause. You work to the bone, and then you can't work anymore, and nothing ends up getting done. So yeah, I mean, there was a whole program that I pitched to the team. They loved it, and it just never got implemented, of putting options for our donors so we could actually get donors to put money where they want, and we actually get money. So
yeah, and you know what? As a libertarian and somebody who's involved on the national level, involved on the state level as well, until we can get people elected, this is kind of the way that we need to do things. We need to get out there and be in front of the legislature and affecting public policy, because and people think, well, they're a Democrat and they're a Republican, they're never going to work with us. There's nothing further from the truth. Democrat and Republican want to get reelected. That's their thing. I don't blame them. But let's work on policy to help you get reelected. Let's do something that's going to help you say, you know what, I've removed the government from your life in this one area. So if I'm working with a Democrat on criminal justice reform, or if I'm working with a Republican on business licensure reform, that's affecting public policy, and that's removing the government from my life, and it doesn't require me getting someone elected. and that's really the future. Where for now, until we remove all the ballot access hurdles and remove all the other rigmarole that is going on, that is where we're going to have to go to be able to try and set the world at least a little bit freer in our lifetimes.
Right. And I can't say I disagree. I don't know if I'd use that same language. Like, let's hope you get reelected, because but I get what you're saying for sure.
Sure.
And like, we are definitely in a prime opportunity right now. We've got Biden that in less than a month into his, or 2 months now at this point, into his presidency, he's already backtracked on 5 campaign promises and like 10 tweets. Excuse me, just a second.
No, seriously. Biden, let's say this has not been a good week for Biden.
My four-legged daughter was being rude.
Well, that's a real nice way of putting it.
He's not had a good week.
I think it would be a great week for him since he's starting to make more money from the military-industrial complex. But,
yeah, but
bad week for the world, maybe.
Yeah, it's a bad week for the world. I mean, so we've now renamed the detention camps at the concentration camps at the border from kids in cages to immigrant overflow facilities.
Yeah, that sounds a little better.
Makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside.
I feel so much better about destroying a family now. Thank you, Joe.
Well, you know what? I will give Biden credit in that they have changed the policy from separating families at the border and then putting the kids in the cages. From what I'm gathering of the policy, and I may be wrong, but what I'm gathering of their policy is that the kids that are going in the cages are the ones that are coming. They're unaccompanied minors coming across the border. So I'm not happy about it, but at least we're not separating families. These are kids that are coming across the border without a family.
Policy is one thing. Do we have evidence that policy is being followed through?
That's the other. Right. That's the rub. Will this be? Will we get 2 years from now and find that they're still separating families, they're still separating kids and putting them in cages and sending their parents off to back to Honduras or wherever they're going back to, and we've got another just a big concentration camp full of kids that well, we don't know where their parents are. Well, no shit, you took their parents and threw them back in Honduras or Costa Rica or wherever, and they have no way of getting back to the kids because it's a several 1,000-mile journey, or they may have died trying to come back and get to their kids. So yeah, it's that time will tell on this policy if it really truly is just the unaccompanied minors that are being detained, or is it are they still doing?
Even so, like there are plenty of youth centers that have like the skills and the resources necessary to take care of these kids and stuff like that. Throwing them in a cage with 30 other ones in the middle of a pandemic with an aluminum blanket still seems kind of cruel. I mean, I agree. I can understand the nuances of why it's like still better than what it was, but it's still kind of fucking horrible. Like,
yeah, absolutely. It's fucking awful. Oh, by the way, K. Cameron says that you are sex on a stick, Tyler.
He is.
He is sex on a stick. I know.
Well, that's a different. That's going to be a different stream. Kay, that's going to be a different stream. www.onlyfans. Anyway, like.
Yeah. Wait, which page on OnlyFans?
Oh, we need to get Marcus Baker on here. I owe him a shout out, apparently. So.
Oh, Marcus Baker, yeah, he's new vice chair of Tennessee now.
Yes, he is.
Congratulations, and congratulations to you for announcing your run for LNC secretary, man.
Yeah.
I was a little bit nervous during the speech. I hadn't been asleep for almost 48 hours because of flight terrors, and I got stranded in my hours pretty much, and got there and like didn't really have enough time to acclimate to the Airbnb. So we ended up at the delegates hall, and I'm sitting there like, ooh. Like I really want to be excited to see everybody, but I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, you've had quite a journey. You went from Phoenix to Boise to Seattle to Tennessee.
No, Phoenix to Bozeman. I went further north than Boise. I was like almost in Canada. Yeah, I went from there to Montana. Montana, like the airline was like, "Oh no, it's canceled," and then like person who has chosen to remain nameless like helped me with their points to like, "No, we're getting you there, but do you mind having a layover in Seattle?" So I ended up staying in Seattle for a couple hours, and then flew from Seattle to Nashville. The journey back was just as tumultuous, but
it was like that intro screen during the Indiana Jones films when he's flying from the United States to like Kathmandu or something like that. That's kind of like what your journey was.
I hit 5 states in my trip, and I didn't even really have to make an effort to do it.
There you go, man. So
I sat there and bitched the whole time on Facebook about it.
I don't know if I'll be first, but I will certainly be one of your endorsers. So for the job,
I appreciate it.
Really happy that you're running for the office. So
it's not to cast aspersion on the incumbent. Actually, she's one of the inspirations for why I wanted to run, and I do understand, the gravity of the work that she does and everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping to come in and help, improve that office even more than she has done in her past couple of terms. So I'm hoping that we can actually modernize a little bit of delegate processes and national and LNC meetings and stuff like that. Because we are a party, we have a prime opportunity to actually make a difference in the American politic with both parties like going, what the hell's wrong with our guy? And we can't do that if we're being held up by certain other aspects of getting our shit done, so to speak. So I'm looking to, I'm going to these states. I actually would want to sit down and talk with people. Like, speeches are nice, but I prefer sitting there having a beer with you. I want your thoughts. So let's do this. I can't just take it from Tennessee. I need it from all 50 states. I need people from all 50 states because we are the national party. How can we make it better so we don't end up with more and more faith being lost in the LNC? And I think JBH has done a wonderful job in trying to salvage that. Karen Ann, I think, has done a wonderful job on her end trying to do that with other parts of the party that are starting to fracture a little bit. I think she's done well, and she's in a very odd predicament trying to play the mediator, I think. And then Ken Mollman's done a really good job. Actually, I saw Ken in Tennessee, and Ken is looking good. Like,
holy cow!
I did not recognize him. Like, I was, who is that guy? Like, I think I know him. And then Chase Oliver leads over. That's Ken Mollman. I'm like, whoa, nice job, Ken. Like,
yeah, he's lost 60 pounds, I think, in the last. It's not been that long since the last convention.
Yeah, I think he said like he was looking at pictures from national and stuff like that. He decided he wanted to get serious, and he just started dieting, exercising. He's dropped a lot of weight. He should be proud of what he did. So.
But I see him on the Libertarian Party happy hours on Fridays, and he's just drinking and drinking. It's
and then congratulations to Dave Jones too, because he just got elected chair of the Tennessee party. But yeah, he was running against Trisha Butler, and like for anybody that's unfamiliar, she's like a city councilwoman for the 4th largest city in Tennessee. She's doing an excellent job.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's been doing an excellent job representing libertarians and libertarianism on the normie front as the councilwoman for Clarksville. So I think it was a win-win. Tennessee had one of the best problems to have in that they didn't have a bad choice for any of their positions they elected. So
that's awesome. So yeah, congratulations to everybody who won there. Congratulations to me in like 6 weeks, where I'll get to hand off the reins for the state of West Virginia to some unfortunate sucker, some very well qualified person who's going to have fun doing this job. So,
right? Are you guys doing a physical one or a Zoom one?
Yeah, we're doing a physical convention in Bridgeport.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, that's where they're opening that cultivation factory or something, right? For the medical cannabis.
Yeah, so they've got 5 different, or actually 10 different cultivation groups in West Virginia. I'm talking about Tennessee all night. So in West Virginia, we got 10 groups that were approved of course, a lot of it, they're all out-of-state corporations. They're all connected to the state government and everything.
Right.
10 growers. The one here in the Eastern Panhandle, they're related. It's it's the same company that's doing the growing and the manufacturing operation in West Virginia. So, when it's going to start, I have no fucking clue at all. They passed the law in 2017, and it's still not going. I do need to call Riley Moore, the state treasurer, and check in with him and see what the process is and see how we can get that moving forward. Problem is, we've got a supermajority Republican in the legislature, both houses, and governor, and not sure what the appetite is for really pushing this forward.
For making money.
You guys are trying to get rid of the state income tax. There's this is a great source of revenue.
Yeah.
Because they're not even proposing to reduce. I think out of a $4 billion budget, it's like $500,000 that they're proposing to cut from the budget.
So brave.
Budget dust. In the government, they call anything that is like point something of a percent budget dust, and that's budget dust.
I do have a question, David. Do you have your Mountain Dew with you?
I sure do, man.
Have you tried being less white?
I've tried. Did you ever see the movie The Jerk?
Well, yeah.
No. Yes, Steve Martin. You've never seen The Jerk?
What?
Dude, you need to see that movie.
Tyler, stop what you're doing right now. Leave and go watch it.
Watch the movie, man.
I'll see you guys. We're doing after hours. All right.
That is more important than this.
Yeah, you need to watch The Jerk. Jerk is a classic movie.
I was born a poor white boy or poor black child. Yeah, I got that all wrong.
Poor black child. Oh man. Thanks to, let's see, we got a lot of people in. Tiffany, Elizabeth, Barrett Robinson. Don't leave us, David. I'm not leaving. I'm still going to be involved in West Virginia politics, and with the LNC, I'm still, West Virginia is one of the states in the region, and I will absolutely love, helping West Virginia out any way I can. West Virginia needs more income. 38% of our budget is from federal funds, so that's absolutely true. So if the federal government decides to cut off some stuff, that's not going to do well for us. John Phillips Jr. says he doesn't have to watch The Jerk. He already is a jerk.
I'm picking a thermos for you.
That sounds like But I actually, it was kind of funny. I think John Phillips might be my brother. Like, I'm pretty sure, because it was like the other day I was talking to somebody. I don't remember who it was. It was somebody at work, and I was like we were discussing political things, and I kind of meant it, kind of didn't, but I was like, well, you can fuck right off.
Well, there you go. Shit, you're channeling him right there.
Oh man. It's become my new favorite phrase.
Yes. It's beautiful.
For the low price of nothing, you can fuck right off.
It's like Connor Brown down in Georgia. He made a comment about sometimes I'll scroll through Facebook and see Tyler or John on something, and I'll be like, boy, Tarnell, you raised these boys right.
I love Tarnell. Tarnell's awesome. Elizabeth Coquillard says, hi guys, or hey guys.
Hi.
Hi, Elizabeth. She is awesome. Just for the record.
Mm-hmm.
She is. Todd, Adam, Barrett, John, Elizabeth. Thanks everyone for joining us this evening, and still waiting for Care Bear to come in. But
we've talked about John every single episode. He should just come on.
He should. Yeah, absolutely. The other story that we kind of touched on a little bit earlier this week that is another big disappointment for for us when it comes to the Biden administration is the attack on Syria. And I've got people defending it. Like, here's the thing. He didn't send a mean, nasty tweet after it. Okay, great. But they're like, oh well, he only attacked a building that had Iranian-backed militias in it, and that's that was the only thing that was damaged. First off, we don't know that. We're not really on the ground. It was a drone strike in Syria, so you don't know if there was collateral damage. A lot of time, these buildings are co-located in areas with civilian population because they think that we're not going to attack them because they're in a civilian population, and we still attack them anyway. The second thing is, even if it was a targeted strike, that's exactly what Donald Trump did to Qasem Soleimani, a targeted strike which killed an Iranian general. There's no difference in it to me. It's a dumb provocation of war in an area that we should be the fuck out of. We've been there for 30 fucking years. We started to the federal government. We've been in a period of war since August 2nd of 1990. We're in 31 fucking years on August 2nd, 31 years of war. Are we safer? Is the world more stable? Is the region more stable? Fuck no, it isn't. What the fuck are we doing there still?
I read something about it today that the U.S. government is reporting that this strike just killed one person, but a war-watching independent group reported as many as 22 confirmed fatalities. And so it just underscores the level of lack of research on the American public, because they're obviously just skimming the surface of the topics of the day. If they aren't looking into it, they aren't going to see the inconsistencies that we're being consistently lied to by the government. And so why wouldn't they argue about, well, Trump did this, Biden did this? That's surface level, and it's not valid for debates.
It's just a divide. It's just to silo people in there. Oh, it's Democrat versus Republican. Democrat did right, Republican did wrong, or Republican did right and Democrat did wrong.
Absolutely. But it also perpetuates, the lack of accountability for actual war crimes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why are we killing people? We don't even belong over there.
And in a country that we have not even discussed any military action within Congress. We kind of discussed Iraq. We did do the original. It wasn't a declaration of war. We haven't had a declaration of war by the U.S. Congress since 1942 against Romania, Bulgaria, and Hungary. Those are the last three countries we've actually declared war on. And it was early in 1942. That's because they joined the Axis at that time. So we haven't actually had a congressional declaration of war. So almost so it'll be 80 years next year. And how many years have we been in a state of war since that? Whether it's the Cold War, whether it's Vietnam, whether it is everything that's happened since you can put in Grenada, you can put in Panama, you can put in Gulf War I and on, because Gulf War I is now that period of war that we're currently in. We've been in war far more of those 80 years than we have been at peace.
When are we going to demand actual representation? When are we going to say, you're spending our money, you aren't representing us, you aren't even listening to us, you're killing innocent people? I mean, for as many people who say they care about the lives of brown people, Where's their caring?
Yeah.
What are they doing to stop the murder?
You know, and they hit on the Republicans over the last 4 years bombing brown people, but they're ignoring it now that Joe Biden's doing it, which just shows me that you know their concern about brown people is purely nationalistic. You know,
If
it doesn't go
that.
beyond these borders. Yeah, I mean,
even
are they going
that
to turn a blind eye
generous.
when? Yeah, or are they going to turn a blind eye when we start seeing, you know, cops killing people in the streets again, or beating an innocent person in the street? Are they going to turn their back on it because, oh, it's going to make the Joe Biden administration look bad?
No, you know they are. That's the thing. You know that's what's going to happen. Like
It's happening already.
It's that political ping pong ball thing that I was saying. How many of you guys actually knew that here in Phoenix, the Phoenix PD is actually being hit right now because they made up a gang to go around and get warrants on like 26 BLM protesters. They made up that they were part of a gang. And now they're like going around and arresting these people. How many of us have heard that? That happened like this past week. Like, yeah, that's the thing. It's bullshit. And like, you know, we're sitting there and causing this stuff. I've had people already that, you know, because now their conscience is good because they didn't have to vote for Mango Mussolini. I brought it up and it's just like, you know, well, it's like now it's time to create the stability and everything again that we lost under Donald Trump. And I'm like, by framing and arresting innocent people, innocent Black people that you said you gave a shit about, like,
what kind of world do they live in where their opinion is the only one that matters? Because I'm sure they didn't think for a second that the people who wanted Trump in are gonna suddenly be like, oh, well, never mind, Biden's all right.
The people preaching white privilege are exhibiting the worst white privilege of it all. Like, that's the big thing. I have no problem accepting that is a part of our society. There is a definite like racial privilege like that exists and is perpetual. However, the ones that are like trying to shine a spotlight on it are the ones that are the worst offenders of it. Like, and that's the biggest part that upsets me. And this is like, you know, when Kara jumps on, like, I hope she realizes like present company is excluded because I assume, like, you know, from talking with her, getting to know her, she's one of the people that can actually sit there and stay consistent. So we need to get her over on our side, David. Like,
if Tyler did that, I would shit myself if I did that. But so we got some comments. First off, ask for and you shall receive, Tyler. Mr. Marcus Baker has joined us. So
what's that? You bitch. Like, we were talking about me being a sassy ghost, and he wanted to hear it. So boo, bitch.
That's awesome.
No, I love Marcus. Actually, him and his wonderful wife Shastia, and we got to indulge in some chocolate wine during business.
Ooh. Even
though I'd been up for 48 hours, I was like, ooh, you get drunker faster when you haven't slept.
So John says that Biden is a warmongering shit stain. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I even tweeted that at him. Yeah, awesome.
He did.
And yeah, so, and we got votes for John coming on the show, so we definitely need to get John on.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I might just be doing a after dark show next week because we've got an LNC meeting, and I don't know if John will be in the mood to talk after the LNC meeting. I don't know if I'm going to be in the mood to talk after an LNC meeting. Like spitting epithets all over the place. Dave's got Tourette's.
But, why do you randomly shout dilatory? What happened there?
Hey, can I back up for just a second?
What's that?
Can I just back up for a second? It's something that Tyler said about, you know, that's what the hypocrisy of the people who are trying to shine a light on white privilege. I think the hypocrisy of it is what makes it so dangerous. I was originally like my family was very apolitical, but they leaned very Republican. So I grew up thinking I was a Republican, not realizing what libertarianism was. And as soon as I realized what it actually was, then I came over. But that's not the point. My point is, looking back at it, yes, they're two wings of the same bird. Both are hypocritical. But I think what makes the left so dangerous is that they pretend they're not. There's a loud portion of the Republicans who are proud of their bigotry, and the left just is in complete denial. And it brings people in who are either not well informed or new to politics, or for whatever reason.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but to avoid like getting too like, I don't even know if it's necessary. You can like broad stroke it as the left, because a lot of these people are just centrist moderates, and it like they want that social safety net and all that other nonsense. Like,
fair enough, yeah.
Like it's they want all of that, and that it's again, it's like it's not that they don't think I think they honestly just might be majority compiled of useful idiots. Like, if it's not happening in my soil, or if I don't have to have my worldview disrupted, kind of like the people on the right that are proud of their bigotry, that's the biggest part of why they're bigots, because it disrupts their worldview. That's the thing that kind of distinguishes them. The right sees the disruptions or goes out and looks for the disruptions, and the left just says, as long as I can't, out of sight, out of mind. Or the centrist, moderate, center left people that are what the Democratic Party is today. Like they're just like out of sight, out of mind. If I don't see it, then we're good. Like some of those disgusting tweets that came out regarding what you're bringing up, like that said, we had military action today. It was so nice to not see somebody bragging on Twitter about it. Yes, I'm certain that the person that just got turned into a puddle is so happy that at least it wasn't bragged about.
Yeah, like, it didn't spike the football.
Like,
thank you, Tyler. No, that's a great point, and it shows how easy it is to fall prey to the this side versus this side. So thank you for that point.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to clarify, because we do have people that like will go back and watch this that are they call themselves leftists, and they're actually like the true definition of like a lib sock or a lib left person that is just as pissed off as we are. Yeah. And because it's like I don't want to like contribute to like demonizing them, because my whole goal is to build bridges with them at this point, because we need to. We are like again, we're at that prime opportunity. We can unite and be like, hey, we're actually anti-war. We're actually appalled at the kids in the cages and the kid that just got blown up in Syria. Like we're pissed off about all of it. We're consistent. If you're sick and tired of this shit, then we can work with you. These left of center people in the Democratic Party, though, they're a huge issue. They are either useful idiots or they're maliciously intending to make it out of sight, out of mind. Like, and that's.
I think it's more that there's a Democratic establishment that is very entrenched in the government, that seeks power and seeks to maintain power when they get to power, that will do things. And that since we've made this such a siloed electorate, that you're the red or blue, and there's only a few of us in between, that a lot of people, I always say that most of the voters in the United States view the election like the Olympics. It comes around every 4 years. You talk about it for 2 weeks, then it goes right the fuck away, and you forget about it. Now, it's been exacerbated over the last few years because Donald Trump was such a touch point that everybody was kind of focusing on it, and people got so tired of politics that I think now the default position is, well, Joe Biden isn't tweeting about it. Joe Biden is not, while we see what's going on and are objecting to it, that it's not such a touch point because he's got a very compliant media that won't raise those issues because
which is terrifying.
And the media fears bringing on Donald Trump again. That's their fear. They're going to protect this guy as much as they humanly can because they don't want Donald Trump back. And to an extent, I understand it, but you're the media. You can't be a lapdog to these guys because, just because Donald Trump was out there being an asshole doesn't mean that Joe Biden is going to be in the behind the scenes being an asshole and doing just as bad things or worse. Just because he's not tweeting about it and not because he's not calling you out at press conferences doesn't mean that he doesn't have the same capacity to do fucked up things. And but as far as the electorate goes, I'm going to say that for the most part they don't care because they've chosen to kind of step back and let shit happen for a while because they're so tired of not only with Donald Trump, but the pandemic. You've been so hyper focused on news for the last year plus that you're ready for a break. I mean, that was one of the things I even fell to that myself. Like after the election, I was like, I just need a break, just a day where I don't have to worry about the news cycle because Donald Trump tweeted this, Donald Trump tweeted that, or CNN is freaking out about this and just ran the breaking news banner for the last 5 years. I need a small break, and people are taking it and they're running with it. And it's sad, and we're gonna lose freedoms because people are not paying attention.
Mm-hmm. We live in a hell realm of despair. There's no escape.
Yeah. What is it that Kim says? The unrepentant hellscape of
totalitarianism.
Unabashed totalitarianism.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. That whole conversation started over a card game. Well, the House of Cards is actually a real thing now. So,
so another story that's come out the last couple of days: New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has faced 2 allegations. And I would give them they'd be very credible allegations of sexual harassment towards the one I saw today was a healthcare advisor, a young lady, probably about 25 years old. And this is the second report of sexual harassment from facing Cuomo right now. She was a healthcare advisor, was in an office with him. Going over, with all the coronavirus stuff, she was doing some kind of presentation or going over some numbers, and he started making comments about, how do you feel about dating older men? I'm good with dating women who are who are much younger than I am, in their early 20s, is fine with me. Basically kind of made it clear that he wanted a relationship of some sort with her. And this is the second credible report of sexual harassment by Cuomo. What do you guys think? Is this gonna stick? Will it force him out?
I don't think so. And I'm making faces because, like, he just had a spotlight shown on him for his botched policy regarding nursing homes and during COVID. Is this just a distraction? I mean, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying, like, it happened.
I'm thinking that if
after.
I don't know, because I'm thinking, like, maybe it's something that we need to, like, hinge on the same way we did when Kavanaugh's accusers came out, when Trump's accusers came out. To my knowledge, the only person that's actually fallen victim to this in the political realm is Senator Al Franken, and he had the good damn decency to resign after his allegations. That's the thing; it didn't make it to any type of, like, a scene of prominence, such as a hearing or anything like that. Franken just said, "You know what? I fucked up. I'm out."
Yeah.
And that's something, like, would have never voted for him, would have never been one of his supporters or donors or anything like that. But that's something I do give him credit for. Yeah, you did a really shitty thing. Like, good on you for actually realizing you don't need to be anywhere near a seat of power. Like, so like we're seeing this now with Cuomo, and if it does make it to one of these hearings, or like we actually, get to see like the accusers present their case, everything like that. I can see it now, like somewhere in back channels, they are going to quietly just fade from news stories. It's going to quietly be handled and everything like that. Whether it comes from like, it was untrue, and now we've created a new victim of society in terms of perception, because now it's just like, oh, you just wanted to like stir trouble. No, we need to quit protecting this. We're all about taking down the elites. Let's do it. Let's take down these fucking elites. And finally, where is this Me Too movement that we saw during Trump's years? Where the hell are you?
That's the thing. I think this is
a challenge to them. Like, where are you? Like,
this is the this is the Me Too movement. This is, if this is the tail wagging the dog, is this? To me, this is it's a strange place or a strange way to distract from the whole.
And I agree.
Because of the Me Too movement.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what attacking someone could gain, unless the attacks were. Oh shit! My edible's kicking in. Whoops. I was like, oh, it's only half. It'll be totally fine.
No, so
can someone finish my sentence for me?
Well, one of the things that has been accused over this is that when the first accuser came out, no one broadcast the story at all, except for Fox News. But that was, of course, they're gonna run with a story like that. But the other networks didn't. The major networks, CNN, MSNBC, ignored the story. Second one's come out. Now I'm actually seeing this on BBC. I haven't looked at CNN or MSNBC, but to me, I mean, these aren't like political appointees. These are government workers that are bringing these forward, and to me, lends a little bit of credence to what's going on here. And honestly, you look at Andrew Cuomo, and I could see him doing this. It's like,
well,
I can see
judge a book by its cover. You mean
hitting on the young girls around the Capitol, and not happy that it's acceptable for him. It's not acceptable for him to do it, but people will shrug their shoulders and ignore it. I'm not happy about. So
yeah, and that's I think that's what's going to be frustrating, because it's like, I still haven't let go of the friggin' Epstein thing. Like,
good.
Some nights I'll sit here and I'll take my medicine, and I'll sit here and watch and read over that Ghislaine Maxwell deposition and everything, and it's just like I still can't let stuff like that go, and I'm not gonna let shit like this go either. At this point, I personally reached a point where, yeah, oh God, don't get him started on that. Yeah, I hope I become that person at that point. Quit fucking ignoring shit that needs to be handled.
Quit taking away the rights of the individual, denying autonomy. End of story. Not your life, not under your control.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I guess that's why I started off helping out with this newly forming sex workers caucus within the Libertarian Party and stuff like that, and hearing some of the stories of people that are interested in joining and stuff like that. That's kind of what it boils down to, because it's like, at the end of the day, it is an individual that is getting harmed, that is living with the trauma of that harm and everything like that. And it frustrates me to no end that it's not a expedient to utilize these individuals. It's expedient to use the ones that gain attention and traction, because we're actually just fighting against Kavanaugh being an appointee, or Trump being president, or whatever the hell it is. You're not focusing on the actual problem, which is the horror of being unable to have your autonomy because it's being stolen from you in a very traumatic experience. How the fuck dare you negate that? And how the fuck, like that again, like, you know, that's why I'm saying, like, I have been blocked and, you know, silenced on several like social media areas, and I've lost friends over it. It's like, where the fuck are you? Put on your pink pussy hat. Let's go. Let's do this. Like, if you're actually about it, be about it. Like, it's like, because it's like at this point you are nothing more than, I don't know, you're that fucking useful idiot. Like, I don't know. I'm sick of people being shitbags to each other, and that's exactly what this Me Too movement is doing to Cuomo's accusers right now. You know, they're being shitbags to somebody who is actually trying to like stop this cycle of abuse. Like, and just because you have a fancy title or a fancy office, it does not protect you. And for whatever reason, we're letting it protect them. It's literally a piece of paper that we just have to throw a freaking halberdier through. Like, let's do it. Like, take them all down if that's what it takes. Like,
I don't understand it because, like, there's, for the most part, there really isn't a more democratic state than New York, and you know, you can make the argument for California, Massachusetts, of course, but you take down Cuomo, what are you going to get? You're going to get a Democrat. So it's not like you're going to lose power. There's no cost to you know, to removing Andrew Cuomo from office. It is, you know, being consistent. That's the cost that you're losing right now, is that you're not consistent, and it makes it harder when somebody on your side comes forward to seek recognition of someone that is, you know, or anybody that's really coming forward to seek justice when it comes to being harassed, you know, being you know, having revenge, you know, all that stuff happening, and you know, you're harming your cause. That's what I don't get. If you're all about the Me Too movement and you're shutting down these two women over this issue because it's inconvenient because of your political party, you're doing a massive disservice to the Me Too movement. And you know, it's about creating an environment where someone can go to work and do their fucking job and not, you know, feel like they have to give up sex to get ahead, or, you know, do things that they don't want to do to get ahead, or even just maintain their damn job. I mean, we had one of our mutual friends, and I won't call her out, but she posted this week that she lost her biggest client because she made it clear to him that she was not going to sleep with him, and fuck that dude. And I hope, you know, and she has all of his social media, and I hope I hope he gets fucked, but it's not by her.
Well, yeah, it is terrifying. Speaking about sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Well, even in that,
especially your own, and especially when you're attacking someone, or not attacking, but like bringing out a specific person, and
especially the power imbalance.
Yeah,
with the power imbalance, especially, you know, as a respected state leader with all the power in the world, hell yeah, that's a hard thing to do.
You can even talk to the police about it without them being as traumatizing as the original event.
Yeah.
In my personal experience. Sorry, I'm high, so filter's gone.
It's all good.
Even in that same vein of that mutual friend we have, like, in that, if you like went through that comment section, there were people, one individual in particular I remember, it was like, you know, oh, well, it sounds like now that we're like holding product that he paid for hostage, so I guess like good for you for calling him out while you're stealing from him. I'm not the one that has to deal with that court case. I was like, ooh, like, that's the thing. That's like, because it's like at the same time, like, how many of these people who claim to be Me Too or we're in DC wearing those pink hats, how many of them are going to say certain shit that they completely demonized, rightfully so, the people that attacked Kamala Harris for her sexual conquests that she went through during her rise to power and stuff like that. Rightfully so, attack that. Like, her sex life's none of your damn business. And if the idiot she slept with was willing to promote her and get her a position, then that's fine. Like,
I can't say I blame her.
Right, it was consensual at that point. So, like, really, what are you attacking here other than just being an asshole? Like, exactly. I'm waiting because I feel like it's going to happen. We're going to see these same people that are going to go and do exactly what the right does. Anytime a black person or somebody of ill repute is killed by police officers, they're going to dig up their past and they're going to try and plaster the focus on that instead of actually focusing on, no, somebody violated another individual, regardless of whether or not that individual is a person of ill repute or an upstanding citizen. That's inconsequential. That doesn't matter. You have somebody that completely did something wrong, can be verified. Why the fuck does that person's past matter at this point?
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it started off, you can say no at any time. That's the thing. If it happened as it were, like, if it was consensual at the start of the whatever led to this trauma and this incident, if she said no at any point, Cuomo's still in the fucking wrong. That is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it started. What matters is, in that moment, you traumatized another human being. You took away an innocence that they had in their worldview. And how fucking dare you? You deserve to be taken down. And anybody that would defend him can also go to the deepest chasm of hell and rot down there while Satan fucks them with his trident. Like,
exactly.
That's my whole.
So we got a comment from Elizabeth. Says, I do think the minority, and this is going back to our conversation about the parties, I do think the majority of the Americans fall somewhere in the middle or are polarized on hot topic issues, vote for campaign promises, and then get nothing that they asked for. But hey, at least it wasn't the other guy. Absolutely true.
Right.
But most people are pretty decent. People get, but are decent people, but the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and that's why extremism is broadcast as our norm. Absolutely, nothing more than a political tool. Yeah, completely agree. But yeah, it's I'm angry at this point. It's only going to get worse if this continues to get ignored, and especially if more people come out, because usually if there's one, and then the second one comes out, there's going to be a few more that come out, I think. And this is for politicians, this does fit a pattern. So I'm interested to see where this goes from here. I'm going to take a look at CNN and MSNBC and see if they're reporting on it at all.
When I just did a brief Google search, it only showed me just the headlines of just one woman coming forward. So I'm sure things are not being fully covered.
The BBC story was the first I'd heard of it. I didn't hear about the first person to come forward. But a young lady named Charlotte Bennett, who was a health policy advisor to Andrew Cuomo, told the New York Times that she was harassed in the last year. And it got so bad that she actually brought it to his legal counsel, and they arranged for her to get a job on the other end of the building away from him. And she dropped it because she was happy with her new job and that she was away from him and wasn't having to deal with him. But when another former aide, Lindsey Boylan, had previously accused the governor, when her story came out, she decided to back up the other person that came out. So, I'm going to look forward to seeing. I don't look forward to it. I don't want to, give that appearance, but I hope more come out. I hope more come out and bury him, because he's been a shit governor. He's a complete authoritarian, but beyond that, being a shit human being and being a shit governor, get the fuck out. Get on.
Yeah. If we're like I apologize, and please don't take this as like a proselytization or anything like that. But if we're committed to doing that, like I said earlier, be that person. Like, oh God, don't get him started on it. Be that person would be my challenge to anybody watching, and you too. Like, because be that person that won't let it the fuck go, because that's the only way because they're probably going to sweep this under the rug. Women and other victims of sexual assault, be they men or non-identifying or whatever, they're not going to come out if they keep seeing like it never yields any results. Be the person that is the, oh God, he's going to get started on this. Yes, I fucking am. I'm fucking sick of people having to live with this and realizing that there probably isn't any hope. No, there is, and it is me being fucking annoying whenever it comes to subjects like this. And I hope it's like with like others that watch this or anybody else in this country that watches this shit happen. Don't let it go. Don't let it go. Harp on it. Like
high profile shitbirds that do this, you have to keep them accountable, because you know, if you don't keep the high profile shitbirds from doing this, then you know your middle management boss and some no name company in you know Kenosha, Wisconsin is gonna feel no threat to doing it on their own staff. You know,
I'd like to say something just real quick.
Sure.
I 1000% agree with you, Tyler, that, I mean, you have to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Be the person who won't let it go. But if you are, like me, a survivor, and you care, but for whatever reason, you don't have the voice to speak, please forgive yourself for that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's okay to keep yourself safe.
Sure.
And if speaking out about it is too threatening, it's okay.
Yeah. Right. I had a female that I was talking to not too long ago about everything, and she felt that way. Like, I feel safe here. I was like, well, if you ever do, just so you know, you've got a big gay bodyguard now. Like, let him come for me. Like, it's gonna be real embarrassing. One, that story about them being a shitbird and not knowing no means no. It's also gonna be real embarrassing for them to find out that a faggot whooped their ass. So, like, apologies, but like, it's like my go-to whenever like somebody like tries to fight me. It's like, it's gonna be real embarrassing when when that happens. Like.
So I was hoping Kara would join us tonight, because this is the one story I've really wanted to, because I know this would be in her wheelhouse.
Kara,
where's Kara? Come out and play.
Hey, Mom, send her out.
Kara, forever and ever and ever.
So this week this weekend we've been treated to the clusterfuck that is CPAC. And I mean, we can no longer call this shit dog whistle. There's no dog whistle politics involved.
Are we talking about the Adal stage or the golden calf?
Well, the stage, you know, that brings in a whole different level of yes, it's all good. That's a whole.
My dog drank out of the toilet earlier. Hers are having a conversation. Apparently, they don't like the golden calf either. So
yeah, no shit. But yeah, the golden calf was, you know, highly symbolic of what's happened to the conservative movement in the United States.
All it's going to take is Dan Quayle coming down from the rafters with 2 tablets that he had inscribed the 10 Commandments of Conservatism as beset upon him by Reagan. And then he will rain lightning down and the golden calf will be. We just have to wait. We've seen this before. Like,
you know what? Just they're going to have to wander the desert for 40 years. I think that's the only solution here.
They're going to have to bomb the desert for 40 years.
Bomb the desert for 40 years. Damn it, they got 10 years to go. But yeah, the stage, you know, Trump now has declared that he is, you know, going to remain in the Republican Party and going to fight to make the party his. Interesting factoid in the state of West Virginia, the Patriot Party page changed their name to the New Republican Party. So they've abandoned their Patriot Party.
I was gonna say, they probably got sick of the mockery of, oh, by the way, those people you hate, you just named your party after them.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think they've taken their marching orders from Trump, and they're just going to go and become the, they're going to try and take over the GOP. And they've got good inroads wherever, pretty much, especially over the South. You might get a little pushback from the Northern GOP, but I just don't.
Well, we can't forget, like, Trump's out of office and like doing his little former office or office of the former president or whatever thing. Yeah. He's doing his little games down in Florida right now. We can't sleep on the fact that he's still got a few influences in the state houses now. Like, he's got Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is making it a point just to be, for lack of better words, a see you next Tuesday every chance she gets. And while I appreciate the whole fact of like bringing shit to a vote and getting it like, kind of just disrupting the processes, I'm like, as an anarchist, I'm like, fuck yeah. Then I'm like seeing her do other shit. Like, this is the same woman that did the Jewish space lasers, right?
Yep. Jewish space lasers, the sign outside of her.
Yeah. So we know what Spike Cohen's been doing since the election. All right. Yeah. I knew he was smart. I didn't know he had mastered the finer points of engineering a space travel vehicle that is also weaponized. Good on you, Spike.
He's got a mixtape. I mean, shit. If you got a mixtape, you can do this shit.
I fucking voted for a genius at that point. Like, but like this same like Trump has left elements of himself in government, and it can't be slept on because Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, whether we like it or not, is one of those tumors. The longer she sits there and expands and everything like that, there are going to be more people that are rallying behind her. Like, there is something going on. The New Republican Party, changing the name to that, everything like that. There's something going on, and I think 2024 we're going to see
New Coke.
I'm sorry.
It's New Coke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. It's New Coke.
Yeah.
Hopefully it goes over just as well.
Be less white. Anyway, no, seriously, Marjorie.
New Coke is being more white, I think.
Like, it's like, no, Marjorie, seriously, stop it. Be less white. Stop it. But no, like, she even did something really obscure that, like, it didn't make a lot of mainstream things, but she posted up outside of her office from a lawmaker. I forget where she's from, who has a transgender offspring. Yeah. And she posted a sign outside of her office that said, God said there's only two genders or something like that shit, just to antagonize. And maybe she does actually believe that, but also it was clearly an antagonistic ploy. Yeah. Stuff like that. She is from her position in the House of Representatives being a Donald Trump and still keeping that little bit of a foot in the door for more people, more nationalist populists, as I've been calling them. Like, she's getting them. Like, she's still giving them a voice in our chambers and everything. And it really worries me because I didn't know the Patriot until you just said it. I didn't know the Patriot Party changed their name. But seeing what they changed it to, something's brewing for 2024. And
yeah, the Republican Party is going to be interesting over the next few years. That's just going to be a bloody fight. And quite honestly, people are like, "Oh, that's going to be a boon for the Libertarian Party." I don't like either option that would come out of that fight.
Right, and that's the thing. Like in Kentucky, we've seen them like with their like briefings at Tea Party rallies or meetings and whatever, where they're calling AstroTurf libertarians and stuff like that.
No, that was Georgia.
That was Georgia. It was Georgia. You're right. I knew it was one of the things. I knew it was one of the banjo states. Like, I can say that I'm from one. But even here in Arizona, like, we saw what they did to Kim Ruff and her state mine run, and like it had to have been targeted. They are now, instead of just focusing, they're doing what libertarians do. We are focusing on local races. We have the Frontier Project and stuff like that. We've got Marshall Byrd out in Wyoming and Bethany Valdez in Wyoming, who unfortunately lost, but come next time she runs, she's probably going to win. and I'm interested to see what the GOP Wyoming does. But here in Arizona, they specifically went for this race in the legislative piece, in that it was one of the only positions, as far as office is concerned, that was mentioned in the new legislation. It was specifically meant to keep Kim off the ballot.
Yeah.
Like, whether she was the specific target, it wasn't just her. They targeted all libertarians and third parties that could probably come in. And I did some research today. Literally every previous office holder, except for the incumbent, would not have been able to serve by this new legislative standard. So, and it's really hard, by the way, to dig up no-name individuals holding an office in a state that's not even been around 110 years yet. But
yeah, Kim, you go, girl. God, she is so good.
Yeah,
she would be the person that they would need to protect themselves from.
But that's the thing. I'm interested because I'm waiting to see what Georgia does, because we know we have Shane T. Hazel and Chase Oliver that run there a lot. We've got Indiana, where we had Donald Rainwater and a few other, like Tanya Hillis. Yeah, like they're trying to, and like in Texas they failed. I'm not so sure they're going to fail again, but they tried to kick Kerry McKinnon off the ballot. But as far as that was concerned, they succeeded in getting the Greens, but the Democrats handled that lawsuit. Republicans tried to get the Libertarians kicked off, and we won that and kept Kerry on. But that's the thing. I'm interested to see now, because now, like, you've got these Tea Party and like all these factions of the GOP and stuff like that that are now targeting Libertarians. We have the douchebag Brennan that apparently thinks I'm a terrorist. Like, you know, behold and quiver in fear at the fact that I like freedom. Okay.
Ah!
Bow, mortals.
Yes, Daddy.
Essentially, bow, mortals. But I'm interested to see where this goes, because it's like they've kind of like I haven't seen anything recently about like Stop the Steal, other than I think the most recent story was out of West Virginia, where you're at, David, where they arrested the guy with a bunch of signs and stuff because he walked into the Capitol with a gun.
Yeah.
It was like a 70-year-old man. Like,
yeah, for that in West Virginia, there's not much. I mean, you can't go to the state capitol as a private citizen right now. You have to be a registered lobbyist, and you have to have an appointment and all that shit. So you can't even get on the grounds. The fact that he carried a gun, which is the one place, well, there are two places in West Virginia that you can't carry a gun. One is the state capitol grounds, and they still have not allowed you to carry guns on university campuses. Although
didn't that pass them?
It passed, but I think it was vetoed. No.
Well, good job, Justice. You're really a Republican, huh?
Yeah.
He wears Crocs, so I don't trust him.
Do I still have the
fucking follow the guidelines?
There we go.
Yeah.
Follow the guidelines.
Yeah. Oh my God. I remember I was talking to my mom a couple of days ago. It's the first time we talked in a while. And we were talking about Jim Justice and everything. My mom's like, so, you know, I know you probably don't like him. I was like, let me tell you the first reason I don't like him. And I swear to God, this is the first reason, before I actually even delved into who Jim Justice was. The drunk asshole, the you know who I am when the state trooper pulled him over, the bullshit on the platter, all that fun stuff. Or any of that. I saw a picture of him standing outside of a black Escalade, and he's wearing Crocs and an oversized dress shirt. I don't trust anybody with that lack of self-styling to even be remotely near running a fucking office for dog catcher, much less the state. Like, David,
well, I'm not running for anything, so.
David, don't run for office then, because I will not vote for you.
Yeah, but you know, when you even get past that,
well, yeah, I would hope
watch one of his press conferences. I mean, this dude takes 4 hours to explain a 2-minute concept. And
I'm convinced he's high every time he talks.
Well, he better fucking pass the Dutchie.
he needs to fucking legalize the Dutchie. That's the thing. Like, because I'm not even kidding. He is under the influence of something every time he fucking speaks. I'm not so sure he's not like under the influence of anything.
Well,
I mean, again, one of his big scandals was his DUI or whatever that they had on film. Like,
he's probably drunk.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he is on. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on opiates, because he does have a lot of knee issues and pain issues. He can't stand for the entire State of the State address. He has like a.
I would wager that most Republicans do have knee issues the way Donald Trump's been serviced.
Spicy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And
if anything, if he's on opiates, he understands pain. That's all the more reason to legalize it,
right?
Decriminalize. Yeah.
Well, remember the pharmaceutical industry that really profited off of it is a lot of it's based in West Virginia. So,
right, and that it was before you
probably giving free pills.
Yeah, it's before Emily came on as crew member. We've discussed it before when Richard was on, I think, and like we were discussing it then. It's like it's the pharmaceutical industry at that point, and like we have people in the Libertarian Party that are very close to me that work for pharmaceutical industries, and it's just it's really hard not to kind of demonize. It's like, do you know what you're contributing to? I still love you, but do you know what you're contributing? Because I guess it's culturally relevant to somebody from the state that has watched people. Literally, I went home on leave when I was in the military after I got back from deployment, and there was this guy laying out in the middle of the street, like screaming, like, just run me over, because he had taken too many Oxycontins.
Yeah,
like, or codones or whatever they're called. I was a Percocet person myself, but like, when that's the other thing. I'm somebody that was a former addict. I have no problem admitting it. I am a former addict. Like, I don't take any type of pills outside of like anti-inflammatories anymore.
Yeah.
And it's that's the thing. It's like, I understand that the gravity and the power of it was because of like doctors from West Virginia and like everything like that. And it's so frustrating that, again, I understand why he has knee problems if this is the case. It's like the pharmaceutical industry kind of like monopolizes in West Virginia, and like, I can't count the amount of times that I've been to a doctor's office where it was to take my grandmother or my cousin or myself while I've been there, and the amount of like what are they called? I don't know, the pharmaceutical representatives that come in to present a pill to somebody, or one of the doctors or something like that, and there were like 4 or 5 of them sitting down in the freaking office. Like, there were more of them than there were patients. Like, that's probably because the patients were out at home out of their fucking mind. Like,
it's just here. I mean, you don't even have to be like in the kind of in that lifestyle of using opiates to see it here in West Virginia. I mean, probably within the first 3 months of me living in West Virginia, I saw a dead body at the train station. Some guy, homeless, OD'd on shit. I saw someone passed out in a car at local Sheets. You could tell they were high as shit. It's everywhere here. It's gotten a lot better than it used to be.
Well, it's gotten to the point now that there are people waking up there too. Like,
yeah,
I'll use anecdotal evidence. My grandmother, 80-year-old woman, I've got her finally illegally procuring and smoking pot. This is one of the most hyper-religious, godly women you'll ever meet. Will open her home to complete strangers. Seen it done. Like, everything I got, and always wants to be like that good citizen, follows the law and everything like that. But she even was like complaining one day, and I was like, have you thought about it? She finally went out and found somebody to procure these medicinal treatments. Come to find out, she's like, this is the best I've felt in years. I can actually get out of bed without my knees hurting. My cousin, who is autistic, like, behavioral problems that they were having, instead of like throwing, feeding her the 20 plus pills they have to feed her a day, like, she mixed it in with the food that she serves her. Behavioral problems have been at ease. Like, like it's frustrating to watch all this happen. And now that it's actually affecting my family and stuff like that, like I'm really hoping, like, on y'all's end, that you can make those lives better, because like my grandmother's not planning on leaving. She's gonna die there in West Virginia. Not for another 40 years, god damn it. But she's gonna stay there, and she needs y'all's help. She needs your help. She needs Richard Saffel's help. She needs anybody that's actually advocating on behalf of what we're talking about. Like what Emily brought up, it's like you don't understand the individual experiences and the individuals it helps, because if anybody deserves to be helped, it's the woman that I've literally watched open her home to somebody who didn't have anywhere to go, and she let him stay there for 6 months. Complete stranger to our family. I have no fucking clue who he is. Don't know where he's at now. But
let me tell you about people who suffer from epilepsy.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work for the Epilepsy Foundation of America, and it was a very small branch in Dayton, Ohio. But we encountered so many people who have actually benefited, like their brains have stopped seizures after they take CBD oil, and some other. It goes beyond CBD oil, but I was one of the people representing this whole state. We talked to a funder to help us, who worked on the marijuana legalization law that actually failed the first go round. So anyway, I'm high, so I'm going to start rambling. Someone take the mic.
No, and within West Virginia, for me, yeah. Do I want it legalized? Yeah, absolutely. But nothing made me madder last year. I was watching. This is how much of a political nerd I am. Every day I have the West Virginia legislature on TV while they're in session. Just kind of pay attention to what they're doing, and they had a bill to fix some of the things that were wrong with the medical marijuana law that was passed in 2017 to help speed up the whole process of getting these dispensaries opened. And they were trying to discharge it because it had been triple referenced to committee, basically as a death sentence for any bill. So they were trying to force a floor vote in the West Virginia legislature, and they voted it down. And then, this is like, some of the improvements were, to allow people to consume it, allow people to smoke it, because, if you're a cancer patient and can't hold food down, if you're gonna eat cannabis, that's not going to work for you. You need to be able to smoke it or get it in another way. And so they were trying to improve
it isn't getting in your bloodstream.
Yeah. So they voted down the move to get it out of committee and put it on the floor. And then 10 minutes later, this lady from I think the Northern Panhandle gets up and starts talking about we must honor the veterans. We're going to do this honor the veterans thing. And she gives this flowery speech about veterans and they're the best of our community. I'm like, you know what? You just made it harder for a veteran to consume cannabis to take care of things like PTSD, or if they got cancer because they served in Vietnam and got Agent Orange exposure. You don't tell me you're honoring the veteran when you're pulling this fucking bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You're not honoring the veteran. You're being an asshole. And fuck yourself. You can fuck right off. But let's see comments from the gallery. The farm companies own Indiana from Elizabeth. Yes, they do. They own West Virginia as well. Mylan Pharmaceuticals, which is right across from the parking lot from the West Virginia University football stadium. In fact, the football stadium at West Virginia University is called Mylan Pushkar Stadium. So it's got the naming rights on the stadium as well. They own a significant chunk of West Virginia and the West Virginia legislature. She used to work in pain management, worst job that she ever had. I can understand that. And nephew died from a rare form of epilepsy before his first birthday. Too fragile to leave Indiana. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You're making parents make a choice of, do I want to be a criminal and possibly lose the child? Because if you're caught bringing in cannabis into a state that it's illegal, they're going to take away your child.
And families have tried to move, but it's expensive. It's so expensive to move cross country, let alone, the whole process of finding a job, finding a home. It's nearly impossible for families to move to a state where it's legal to save their own children.
Yeah. Morgan Oxley Lilly says, Tyler Smith can tell you I was on seizure meds for years. And thanks to cannabis, for a very long time, I've now been off seizure medication for almost 8 years now. Used to smoke, or now no longer smoke, but I do use CBD on occasion if I need it. So, there are legions of stories about the effect that.
Yeah, Morgan's there in Mercer County with you, actually, in West Virginia. She's down there in Mercer. I believe it's Mercer, or maybe it's Raleigh now, because I know she moved after she got married. But she is a quality person. Like, honestly, arguably one of the best friends I have in my life. Because she's also seen that. I can definitely tell you that. Yeah, I watched that transition and everything. She's in Raleigh County now. Okay. Like, I can definitely tell you, like, I watched that transition from like her using it and everything like that. But she can also say, as somebody that's walked in on me, vomiting on myself and stuff like that, from my addiction days, everything like that. She's been one of the people that, like, have witnessed the horrible. God, I can't get this camera to focus on me. No way, can I? There we go.
There you are.
There we are. Yeah, but like. She's also watched that, like, me starting to actually adopt that usage. It helped get me off of those trips and everything, and the abuse of those types of medications. And in fact, kind of helped a lot more than those medications ever did. Mm-hmm. Like, the medications are great for numbing. This not only kills the pain, but it's like I'm still able to coherently walk around and do things. Like, I can actually function, and again, it's not like a slam on any of the recreational users. Like, by all means, if you want to like laugh at the word banana pudding, you go ahead and laugh about it.
There we go.
But that's the thing. It's like like you said, it is a wash with. At what point is it not anecdotal, and it's actually like it can be theorized that cannabis is probably the shift we need to make for pain medication, epilepsy medication. Like,
well, that's the problem. Is the federal government has made it illegal to do studies on cannabis, and so we can't get that quantitative data that says this is absolutely a help for people who are have epilepsy, help for people who have cancer, being able to eat. People
look, if Galileo can commit heresy and go against the Catholic Church to state the world is round in the name of science, then we can definitely have a few martyrs of our own. I'm willing to be one of them that will absolutely defy the church, as it were. And unfortunately, this religion that is big government, and God help me for using this term, but the cathedral, if we're going to use that term, that's when it's absolutely applicable.
Yeah.
The fact that they're stifling freedom and everything again. Not that they're like, purporting any of this, because there are pain meds that do help. However, to sit there and say we're not allowing any competition because this is what line our pockets and everything like that. Yeah, you're sounding a little bit like the 1060s through the 1400s Catholic Church. I'm going to go ahead and call that bullshit. Commit me to heresy and behead me if you need to, but that's about the most.
And
he just Patrick Henry'd us.
I know.
That was awesome.
One of the things that we do know from quantitative evidence and their own applications and how they're approved through the process is that those pain medications that are addicting people all over the country, Oxy, Percocets, all that. Well, Percocet not as much, but OxyContin, oxycodone, those were designed for end-stage cancer patients. Those weren't designed for just straight up, I got a bad knee or bad back or whatever. Those were high-powered end-of-life, treatments that to remove the pain of the cancer eating your body alive. And they relaxed the regulations on those to be prescribed to any Tom, Dick, and Harry that wanted to was suffering pain. And yes, they work. Absolutely, they work. They do take away pain, but it's far too powerful an application for your general everyday back pain or your general everyday knee pain.
No. Yeah, and that's the thing. Also, I would like to motion to strike Morgan's last comment off the record.
Uh-oh.
I'm not on Facebook, so I'm not seeing what.
So we all have our cross to bear, and when it comes to
I was a former Republican as well.
Yeah, well, most of us came from other political backgrounds before we came to the Libertarian Party, or even libertarian line of thinking, and me was I thought war was kind of a good thing. Got to get rid of Saddam.
Yeah,
I cringe at those days. But yeah, so you were against cannabis at one point.
Me?
I wouldn't even let it in my house. Like, she's absolutely right. I wouldn't even let it in my house. Like, I thought it was an affront to modern science. I thought it was an affront to God back when I was religious. Because to me, there was no greater high than being high on Christ. Again, not mocking.
What kind of Christ were you getting?
Who was your supplier, man?
I know, right?
I got that celestial weed, like. No, she's absolutely right. There was a point in time where I was absolutely against it, and I guess I guess that's why I also I do take the anecdotes into account now, because at that point there was no convincing me unless I tried it. And finally I tried it on a Thanksgiving evening in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Best holiday to try it on, by the way.
Yeah, man. Bang. Bonus.
And it was the best sleep I'd ever had. I actually stopped having a little bit of the hallucinations and the seizures from being off of opiates for so long, or well, only a few weeks at that point, because a few weeks prior, a few of my military buddies came and pinned me to a couch and dumped it down the toilet. But yeah, no, when I finally tried it and gave into it and everything like that, even from the encouragement from people who were still currently active duty, no, you probably need it. I didn't realize that they were absolutely fucking right. To this day, I still have the cravings for that numb feeling and everything like that the opiates gave me. That's it was a physical addiction that's never going to go away. Right. Your neurons have been completely and utterly mutated at that point.
Yes.
That being said, though, it's I haven't yet, but I take a drag off of this, and it's the cravings go away. I'm actually in a good place. I actually get productive on weed. Earlier today, I actually hit it about probably 9 this morning, and this house is spotless. I went through and mopped everything. I cleaned the dishes. I did laundry. I was like, woo.
Yeah.
So on top of that, there's those side effects to take into account, but it's the best part about it, though, is it fights my addiction problem.
Yeah.
And I don't feel compelled to use it as if it is an addiction. But if anything else, I don't know. It's I guess what you qualify as an addiction. Maybe it is the addiction to not being addicted to something worse. I don't know. The trading one addiction for another. I don't know. I can't.
It comes down to brain chemistry at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I think of it, as many people point to cannabis as, the detractors point to cannabis as being a gateway drug, which is completely. I actually think it's the reverse. The reverse is true, that it is a drug that can bring people back from the edge of these more serious drugs. That help them get by until they can kick the more serious habit. Elizabeth says that she got stoned and went to church youth group as a teen. That would be fucking awesome. I was all the time, but nobody knew because I was always stoned, and that's who I was. So, hey.
But her comment before that, though, that kind of resonates with me too. Like, the people in true pain have issues getting relief because of this opioid crisis and the overprescribing and stuff like that. Absolutely. She's absolutely right. Like, and if I'm remembering right, Elizabeth, you're in Indiana, I believe. Like, it's like Indiana's kind of like what West Virginia's problems are. And hold on, sorry. I have to keep this video on the computer muted so we don't have a double voice. But yeah, it's like like Indiana is just as bad, like as far as like the abuse of the opiates and everything like that. And it's yes, we can go ahead and do like the brutalist / certain type of caucus approach and say yes, it's your fault for continuing to abuse it. Yeah, you can go ahead and take that route, but at the same time, the scientific route of it is once you're on it, you're on it. There is no easy way out of getting off of it. And that being said, like the cannabis usage is, in my opinion and my anecdotal experience, whether or not that can be theorized now, is you use cannabis as opposed to opiates. Not only do you get the pain relief, but you're also kind of like killing that addiction that will physically fuck you up. Cannabis is only a psychologically addictive drug. There's no hold on any type of synapses, any type of like cellular development or anything like that. Cannabis is purely psychological. If you get addicted to it, it's because you just think you want it. Like that's that and cocaine, I think, are the only two illicit substances like that are like that. The rest are physiologically addicting. Like they fuck with your brain, they fuck with the cells, they fuck with everything else. These two really don't. Not that I'm here to like go on a crusade of legalized recreational cocaine either, but like we should. But I'm just, that's not my point here. It's just the cannabis, and what frustrates me with states like West Virginia, Indiana, these Rust Belt and Bible Belt states that are so hardline against it, like I was. It frustrates me because it's like you don't realize how much money that would save the state if we're going to take the economic route. We're going to take the compassionate route. You don't realize how many lives it would save. And you don't realize that also it's kind of a universal drug for a lot of conditions. Like, no, you're not.
And that leads me into something I've been like chomping at the bit to say, and sorry to interrupt you, but you can come back to yours later. I'm high, so the chances of me circling back are a little less. But so let me talk to you about another addictive drug that is legalized. Any drug that's taken to affect mood, any mood disorder, depression, anxiety, PTSD, etc. Mm-hmm. There's huge money being made on those addictive drugs. And, just anecdotally, I use marijuana. I only use edibles because I'm a singer. I can't smoke. But I've used them to work through past trauma and complex PTSD. I am in such a better place mentally now than I was, let alone, a week ago, but let alone, this would have been 3 years that I've been using, I think. Yeah, 3 years.
I wholeheartedly agree with that too, because it helps with a lot of mental problems as well, for sure. And
For
like it
PTSD
honestly
for veterans with PTSD, absolutely. I mean, that's you know, one of the
right.
I've seen specials where they have these veterans taking like just a handful of pills just to not even function, just to get through the day.
At my worst, I was at 17. 17 a fucking day.
Yeah.
And that's the thing though, it's like it does help with that kind of like situation, like the mental aspects of it. Like Mike Locker, that same night we had Richard on, was talking about with like, you know, stuff that he's having with his son, everything like that. Yes, it helps with a lot of like, you know, the seizures and the physical aspect, but it also helps with like the behavioral things, like it does with my cousin, who also struggles with like, you know, the behavioral stuff and everything. Emily, that's an awesome point to bring up. Absolutely. Like, I remember also like the first time I did it that night. That was the first night, and unless you're like a trial person, this is a really weird memory. That's the first night I actually like lay down and didn't see faces when I closed my eyes. Like,
oh my God.
You know, it was fucking beautiful. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can sleep. I got up. I was like, what is this? This is weird. Like, am I dying? No, you're well rested. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. The people who are that genuinely need those opiates are not able to get them, or are treated like criminals when they're trying to get it. Like, I've got a couple friends who are cancer patients, and late stage cancer patients. They're in tough, and you know, it's every time they go to the hospital, they're stage 4. They go to the pharmacist, they get just reamed about refilling their opiate prescriptions, and it's like, Jesus Christ, man, this person is this person's in a state right now that needs these medications. Don't give them a hassle. Yeah, the guy that's been in your store like 20 times in the last couple of weeks to get a prescription for opiates. Yeah, maybe you give that person a hassle, but if somebody's got a stage 4 cancer diagnosis, leave them the fuck alone and give them their damn medicines. Although I think cannabis is probably doing better than the opiates, but
And honestly, like, it varies chemically, person to person. So, I mean, it's still evolving. There's just isn't enough research, and there are new hybrids coming out all the time that have radically different effects on radically different people.
Yeah.
It's really hard to come up with a one-size-fits-all answer.
And once we legalize it across the country, just think of how that industry is going to boom, in that the manufactured cannabis product that is specifically targeted to people who have cancer, who have epilepsy, who have whatever, PTSD. It targets those people, and it has the right levels to match their need, and that's what the federal prohibition is currently hurting now, because you're not allowed to do any major research into cannabis. A lot of this shit is just trial and error right now.
Well, that's my challenge to the medical field. Become that Galileo. Fucking prove them wrong.
Hell yeah.
Well, let me tell you how difficult that is. I used to work for Kaiser Permanente Center for Health Research, and they were one of the larger researchers out there, medical researchers, and funding to get these done. I can't tell you. I mean, most of the time spent is working on budgets, just so you can fund the research that you need to get done. And where you get the funding entirely depends on what you're researching. And so if there's no money coming in from the cannabis industry, there's no incentive for the pharmaceutical companies to fund studies. It's kind of a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be an incentive. Like, I guess I've seen that thing. It shouldn't be an incentive to want to improve the human condition.
The human condition? Yeah, but
that's fucking bullshit. Like, you go into this, you take the Hippocratic Oath, you go in because you purport you want to help other people. You want to make their lives healthier and stuff like that. At some point, we've allowed like some weird injection
Business
of
people.
corruption. If that's who it was, that's who it was. But we've allowed some weird injection of corruption, and it's become less about helping people and more about profit. As long as we just keep them a little bit alive, they're okay. Like, no, it's kind of the same thing. I saw this meme the other day, like, and you know, that's silly, but honestly, the way it was worded, it's very much applicable. It's like, you know, there was this guy that posted, he was like, you know, I'm an intern and everything like that, and my professor is not having anybody shit today. And if somebody was like, what do you mean? And like, you know, he goes, well, I'm in medical school. I'm actually learning to become a physician and everything like that. And like, I'm paraphrasing, like, I'll get out, but pretty much it was like somebody apparently presented the question, what if it's against my religious preferences to work with a transgender or a gay person? And the professor apparently responded, find a different career. Like, it's like, if you're actually there to help people, it shouldn't be contingent upon your like beliefs or anything like that. You don't get to like, you do get to say who you want to help and who you don't. But if you're actually going to do a career that's the entire reason the career exists, yeah, you need to find a different one. And like, when did this injection of corruption for like these pharmaceutical companies who were supposed to be developing medicine to help people, when did it become so hinged on profitability and everything like that? Like, there's more medications that I see on these ads on Hulu and Netflix and cable television. There's more side effects than what the fucking thing's meant to cure. Like,
well, the doctors aren't the ones running the businesses. And I'm not saying all business owners are corrupt. That's not what I'm trying to say. But it's easy to chase the bottom line because that's how you get rewarded. And the government is no exception. The FDA has a horrific backlog of medicines waiting to be approved. And, you know, and it's not a matter of them just being dud drugs that are going to be rejected. They just aren't that profitable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential out there.
We got our first comments on Twitter. And sorry, I missed these earlier. This is when we were talking about bigots. Bobby O231. Not really that difficult to spot a bigot, Emily. Not really, you know, they're pretty open about it.
I mean, that's not always the case, but well, okay.
You know what? The last 4 years, they've been very open about their bigotry. It's become a lot easier to spot them. I will say that. And Fox News is bragging about it. I'm not sure exactly which one that was. Maybe the Cuomo story. They were the only ones to really kind of fully report that. But thanks for commenting on Twitter, Bobby O. And Elizabeth.
I mean, I disagree.
Actually, Elizabeth said that Canada is studying cannabis and shows that could prevent COVID respiratory storms, which is one of those, you know, those bad things that put you on the ventilator. You know, we're pulling for you, Morgan, and your husband. You're reporting that you're both down with COVID, and we hope everything works out for you guys.
Yeah.
Dave Jones from Tennessee says, "Hey,
congratulations, Mr. Chair.
Chair, congratulations about being a chair.
Congratulations."
AJ Campbell as well. Says,
oh, hey.
Thank you guys for chiming in. Yeah,
I get to see those two fabulous people in Georgia in a couple of weeks.
Going down to Georgia, huh?
Yeah, it turns out that I actually
looking for a soul to steal.
Oh,
you know, somebody's like, guess who's coming to Georgia? Like the devil. I was like, no, I don't need any souls to steal. However, I might be horny, so be ready.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes, I need to book a trip to Georgia.
Is this accurate? How is
it? Hitting down to ATL, baby.
Are you going to Wisconsin?
I'm trying to get to Wisconsin. Right. Honestly, the same weekend as Georgia, I was going to try and go to the Frontier Project stuff that they got going on in Wyoming, but Georgia, I can actually like afford and get there. With as far as like what's going on in Wyoming, though, I'm hoping that maybe they'll allow like Zoom participation because they're in Wyoming because Marshall Burke got elected the state representative as a libertarian. Arguably one of our largest seats that we've ever won as a party, legitimately running as libertarians. So
yeah.
So I'm going to go to Georgia instead, and again network there because it's like the Frontier Project was birthed by the Libertarian Party, and it's doing very well. There's not much I can do to help that aspect. So if I can actually help the aspect of the delegates that are going to be coming to Reno in 22, that's who I'm going to go focus on. So
yeah, exactly.
Tyler, I want to be part of your campaign team. Anyway, sorry.
We are actually doing that. Like, again, anybody watching, I do need a campaign team. I just had a meeting today about organizational structures, and we set up an Airtable, and everybody likes to make fun of Brent DeRitter out of North Carolina for being a boomer. I'm there with him, and we're the same age. So,
but do you?
I'm glad that they
wait, Brent's the same age as you?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I didn't know. Oh, I thought he was older than me.
What? Brent, please don't hate me. No, me and Brent are actually the same age, and it was just it was really weird watching like, oh look, Brent DeRitter being a boomer again and everything, and I was just like, I'm his age too, and I didn't know that either. Like, I'm glad he asked though.
Thanks for following on that grenade, buddy.
Right, like, Carolina strong. Anyway,
yeah, but the question is, do you put milk in first before the cereal?
No, that is actually our one conflict. Like, I will argue until I die from exhaustion or asphyxiation against that. No, and Brent, when you watch this, if you watch this, I just want you to know you are wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
That is my first official campaign
it makes
statement.
No sense.
My run for secretary. Cereal goes in before the milk in a bowl.
Yes. I don't know if he's formed a caucus yet. I think it's just him, though. I don't think there's you have to have at least 2 people to do a caucus. So.
Well, you need 4 for a quorum, I thought.
No, quorum is just simply having a certain percentage of your board there. So if you got 2,
you've got quorum.
Yeah, I guess good luck, Brent, finding a board that's a bunch of fucking sociopaths.
Oh my goodness.
Milk in first. How do you know where to stop? No, you need the cereal for a measurement.
I think you broke Emily. You broke Emily.
Sorry, but
I've about had it with this milk in first terrorism. I'm taking a hard line. I talk to God, and He wants me to bomb the shit out of the people that put milk in first.
This shit will not stand, man.
I hope next time I see Brent, he throws a shoe at me so I can actually emulate the person I imitated.
Oh yeah, we've officially gone off the rails.
Yeah.
Who knew that the cereal thing was such a hot button topic? I'm watching some
man.
Right now.
Be the change, Tyler. Be the change.
Morgan agrees. Cereal before milk. I agree as well, though I don't really eat a whole lot of cereal. Most of the time I eat cereal, it's dry. I just grab it out of the box.
What kind of monster are you?
Dude, there's a Cheerios that's chocolate strawberry. Oh man, it's good.
Is it?
It's just a snack. Yeah.
I didn't really like their chocolate Cheerios, but
yeah, but with the strawberry, they're very good. I really like them.
Well, now I gotta go to the store.
Must just be a West Virginia thing.
Dave Jones just sent me a funny meme from Tennessee. I'm gonna try and send it to you guys.
I'm already missing my memes.
Maybe we can like show what it is. Like, I was like, I just need this memed, but he did it. He came through. Hold on, come on. Because you don't allow photo comments on your live streams, apparently.
Oh shit. Well,
Get your shit together, Dave.
No, it's not his fault. It's his show. He's allowed to do that. Honestly, I kind of like.
Well, I don't think you can on live stream video stuff, unfortunately.
It's okay. It's incoming. But Dave designed this, and it's fantastic, and I love it. It's one of my favorite pictures now, since Spike Cohen made the first one. Let's see. Arguing with status memes. I have a lot of meme folders, by the way.
I need to do that because I've got like these memes that they're my go-tos. Like I'll do as photo comments. The JFC as Christ as the Colonel. That's one of my favorite. To when somebody just does some absolute fuckery in a thread, and I just go like, Jesus Christ. That's one I use a lot. But I'll lose it, and it's like in my phone. So
Right?
I can scroll down for a half hour looking for this meme in my phone.
That's what I have to do for my porn. Like, to be quite honest, my little gifs.
Right.
And my list of folders is long too. Anyway,
you got your own like Pornhub GIF thing going.
I kind of do. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Hook your phone up to the internet and just have advertisers and make a lot of money.
Oh,
well,
that's my plan with the AVN stars.
Yeah,
if I ever get there.
I've got Arguing with Status. I've got CAD Corruption, which was that debate commission that invited Joe. I've got memes. I've got outright memes. I've got outright receipts. I've got photos for memes. I've got memes. Stuff memes. Travel memes. I have Vermin and Me memes.
Nice.
That sounds like it should be a book. A children's book. Vermin and Me.
Vermin and Me.
Get it to Hannah Dippler to do the coloring books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a good idea, and good on Chrissy Wickers for doing that.
Yeah.
And for being the artist for it. Like he's like that was incredibly amazing. Like because they actually brought a bunch of them to Tennessee, and they did pretty well actually. Like it was like all those pictures, like Spike at Georgia's last year doing this, like
Well, the cover, I took it when they came out with it. I took it. I made emo Spike. It's just like basically he was wearing all black and black hair. Had black. His hand was up. You had like black fingernails and black.
I didn't see that.
I'll
send that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not on Facebook right now.
You're not.
Yeah, I sent that picture to the Facebook chat, by the way.
Oh, and I'm not on Facebook chat either.
That's
you gotta text me. Hold of me for a little
I'll
bit.
send it to you. It's a picture of me because apparently I could not control my facial expressions while announcing my run in Tennessee. Like it looks like I went through the 5 stages of denial, and like all 10 deadly sins,
grief.
or all 7 deadly sins, like in one like span of photography. And like one of the ones Dave found, he was like, "This is the first of all, bitch face." Like. So I was like, I need that memed because again, I'm Brent DeRitter level boomer, and he sent it back. I was like, this is the meme, so I sent it, and he just sent me another one. Hold on.
Wait, hold on. You need to clarify. It sounds like you might know 3 deadly sins that no one else knows of.
I said 10, but I corrected to 7.
Yeah, like what are you hiding? What do you know that I don't?
Of his run.
Emily, as I mentioned earlier, www.onlyfans.com/
Oh,
yeah. Oh, it's okay.
Double penetration is one of them. That's the hint.
might be mine too. Hey, I gotta go because my dog needs to go outside. So
yeah,
I'll leave that note on double penetration. Hey.
I think we're close to ending it for the night because we're about 2 hours into this, and I got to go to bed. So But
Yeah.
otherwise,
Dave, how's your health doing?
so I don't know what's going on. I've been fatigued like a motherfucker for the last 2 weeks. Like every day at dusk. And maybe it's a circadian rhythm thing. I don't know, but every day at dusk, I just get like like overwhelmingly exhausted. Like it's not just tired and need to go to bed. No, it's like I stop functioning.
Right. Yeah. I'd seen a few of the statuses, so I was a little bit surprised that you still wanted to do this. Like, but if you need the time, it's understandable, man. Like, I hope you get to know better. Like, honestly, I really do.
Yeah,
So.
but we'll I've got a couple theories that maybe what it's related to, and hopefully I can run one of them to ground and get some relief. So I actually felt a little bit better today. I took like a half hour nap and was feeling a lot better. The other times it's like I sleep for 3 hours and I'm up the rest of the night until about 3 a.m. And that really screws with me because I got to get up at 6 and work. So it's like I can't do that every night. That really fucks with me. So, but yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm not way too concerned. I just if it goes on a lot longer, then I'm the concern level will go a lot higher. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to get through is just some exhaustion and trying to regulate my sleeping a little bit better.
Yeah, well, I really do hope it works out. So, and on that note, you probably need to go get some sleep.
Yeah. But love you, man.
You gotta hold off on the Mountain Dew because that's loaded with sugar. You're gonna be waking up.
Well, no. This is Diet Mountain Dew. This is Diet Mountain Dew. So it has a shit ton of caffeine, but I don't think caffeine does anything for me anymore. So
be less white, David.
Look at this shit, man. I can't get any darker at this point. I'm
just go buy it. Like Coca-Cola is like 3 6-packs for $12 right now. Like, go for it. Like,
just pour it on me. And dark. Yeah, just. Is that what you meant?
It's like, no, that's the thing. It's like I so totally get what maybe the HR person was trying to do. It was just God, you need a PR person. Like,
yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm still gonna drink it. Like, I'm not gonna like give in to the. But I was just like, oh my God, I've worked HR. What fucking mishap happened there? Like, who approved this slideshow? Like,
yeah. Well,
I'm all for diversity training, but.
So Dave Jones says, love y'all. Thank you, Dave. So reached out to him, friend requested him after I found out you got the chair. Tyler, Elizabeth says that Chrissy's coming to her area next Saturday. So hopefully you can tune in Sunday. But next Sunday, I think we're probably only going to do a After Dark show because we've got the LNC meeting next week. That thermonuclear hellscape that can be the LNC. So I will be.
Hopefully, I'll be enjoying that with you in the next year and a half. So
there you go. I'll probably be pretty talked out at that point, but we'll probably do the deep dive after our show next week. The week after that, finally getting Dan Fishman on the line for that show. We got hooked up, and he didn't get his reminder about the show last week, so he spaced it. But I'm excited about getting him on and talk about People for Liberty next week, or not next week, but the 14th of March. So again, thanks everyone for joining us this week. Thanks Elizabeth for talking to us online. Dave Jones, Morgan Oxley Lilly. Let's see. Who else did we have? AJ Campbell, thank you for commenting. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining us this week. Join us next week at 9:00 for the Political Deep Dive After Dark. It might get scrubbed if the LNC meeting goes like 6 or 7 hours next week, but We'll play it by
Which
ear.
is what I'm planning against happening, just so everybody knows.
Yeah. But yeah, so thanks everyone for joining, and we will talk to you again next week.